Good afternoon, everybody. John Kelly with John Kelly Fitness and head coach at Live Free CrossFit. And yesterday we talked about implementing the ketogenic diet for beginners. And today I'd like to talk about foods that you would be eating on a ketogenic diet, because in order for you to get 75% of your diet from fat, you're going to have to change the way that you eat foods and read food labels. Most of us don't read food labels when we buy food. Most of us don't count our calories or our macronutrients by putting it into an app or a program that helps us count those calories and macronutrients. So this is going to be a new endeavor for a lot of you. But I just want to give you guys a brief overview of what I have in my house and foods that are going to help you get into ketosis faster. So you have to remember, getting into ketosis is going to take eating at least 75% to 80% of your diet, your calories, from fat, and you're going to have to do that for a couple days before you get into ketosis. And getting into ketosis is just the beginning, because your body has to produce the enzymes necessary to make you fat adapted. That's going to take you maybe a month to a couple months being in ketosis. So this is not easy by any means, but it's very doable if you're disciplined and you understand what has fat and what doesn't. So let's go over a couple things that you'll be eating a lot of. Okay? Butter. As you can see on there, it's grass-fed butter. Okay? The reason you want to get grass-fed butter, I talked about it in an earlier video, is because you want to make sure that the animals you're getting your food from are not pumped full of synthetic hormones or eating grains, which are going to screw up their omega-3 fatty acid profile. So make sure you're getting grass-fed butter, not just any conventional butter. You're also going to be eating a lot of extra virgin olive oil. Okay? Olive oil has 14 grams of fat, 0 carbs, 0 protein. So you want to be cooking in olive oil and coconut oil, which also has 14 grams of fat. Coconut oil has 13 grams of saturated fat, which is good for energy. So if you're working out, you want to eat more coconut oil than olive oil. One of my staples, pasture-raised eggs. Now these are going to be a little more expensive than normal eggs, but this is the same philosophy as grass-fed. You want animals that are eating their natural diet, not a bunch of grains and sawdust and crap to pump them up nice and fat, because that stuff is going to be transferred into you once you eat it. So it's not about what you eat so much as about what you're eating eats. Remember that when you're shopping, okay? Nut butters. I pulled out almond butter, peanut butter. There's several different butters, but this is also going to have a large amount of fat, 18 grams, and it's got 6 grams of protein, which is good, and it only has 5 grams of carbohydrates. Now you got to be careful. Foods like butters that have carbohydrates, foods like grapefruits, foods like avocados, these foods here have some carbs in them. So if you're trying to keep your carbs at 5%, which is super low, I'm sure nobody's ever ate 5 grams of carbs, 5% of their 5% of their diet from carbs before trying this diet. It's going to be difficult. So you have to make sure you're inputting these things into your calorie counter so you know where you're at and when you reach your limit. Okay? Here's another staple. Almonds, or just nuts in general. These are the only nuts I had available to show you. But macadamia nuts are great. Brazil nuts are great. All kinds of nuts are great. So don't be scared of nuts. Make sure that they don't have, if you get a trail mix, make sure you don't have a bunch of raisins and dried fruit mixed in, because those are super high in sugar and those will throw you right out. You got to make sure that you stay low on the sugar, high on the fat, moderate on the protein. Some other stuff that's a staple for me, grass-fed ground beef. Now, you can get this at Aldi's for $5. The one they sell at Whole Foods is $10. So I'd recommend a lot of these things to get from Aldi's. They have great prices on some healthy stuff. This has 22 grams of protein, 18 grams of fat, 8 grams of saturated fat, and 0 carbohydrates. And this is also from grass-fed animals. So make sure you're getting the grass-fed, the good stuff, and make sure you're reading the food labels. Now, what carbs can you eat? Well, you can eat all the vegetables you want. Yes, unlimited vegetables, because a cup of vegetables is going to have a very small amount of carbohydrates, but it's going to have a huge amount of micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals. And vegetables, mushrooms, garlic, beast mode garlic, onions, leeks, all these green leafy vegetables, all these spices, these are going to be great for your gut bacteria, okay? Gut bacteria is necessary to help you break down your foods. It's necessary for your brain, for your hormones. So having good gut bacteria is going to be key to any diet, but also you want to make sure you're getting a nice variety of vegetables when you're doing the ketogenic diet. It can be easy to get stuck into the same foods every day, because once you start counting your calories and once you start counting your macronutrients, you're going to see that the foods you like and the foods that help you stay in ketosis are going to be a very few amount of foods that are going to be able to do both of those things. You need to expand your horizons and try new things as long as they fit within the parameters set by the diet if you want to get into ketosis. Now, if you don't get into ketosis, you can still see benefits from this diet. If you're at a 60-20-20, 60 fat, 20 protein, 20 carbs, you can still see benefits, but you're not going to see the full load of benefits that you would see if you're actually in ketosis. So make sure that you understand what foods you're eating and what you're putting into your calorie counter so that you can actually see your totals. And once you start to get into a groove, make sure that you stay in that groove, because having one bad day will knock you out of ketosis. But if you've been in it for a while and you exercise hard on the day that you get knocked out, you can get yourself back into it pretty quickly. But that'll be a topic for another video. I just wanted to make this a quick one about foods that I eat and foods that you should be eating for great results on a ketogenic diet. And there's more than what I showed you today too. I mean, there's fatty fishes, salmon is a great one, and there's also bacon. People like bacon. I'm not a big pork person, but pork is good depending on the ratios of fat, protein, and so forth. So make sure you do your own research. Don't listen to me. This is just out here as a public service announcement so that you guys will be motivated to do your own research, inspired to go out and learn for yourself, because no matter what anybody tells you, you have to learn for yourself. Okay? So I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk tomorrow.